Uh, sometimes I'm not quite ready when I hit that record button. All right. I realized the way your eyes deceived me. And that's a little too low. Let's go up a tiny bit. Let's see. No cutting here. We're not going to fix this. We're just going to keep going. I realized the way your eyes deceived me with tender looks that I mistook for love. So take away the flowers that you gave me and send the kind that you remind me of. Do you know it yet? Paper roses, paper roses. Oh, how real those roses seem to be. But they're only imitation, like your imitation love for me. Hi guys, welcome to Belle's Bargain. Okay, see, listen, I didn't edit that. I mean, I really don't edit, you guys. Once I hit it, I usually just go for it. So I started out a little low, so I was like, you know. What are you talking? Ferdinand's back on the wall, having a little talk. And apparently, Jax is gonna talk to us too. They're doing some work on top of our roof today, so if we hear any buzzing, I'll try and pause. I apologize for that. Anyway, so Jack's going a little crazy. All right, Ferdinand, well, thank you so much. I'm glad you really like that song. And you're right, their imitation rose is just like you're an imitation bull. Okay, which would make you be us. Okay, today is a challenge video. It's another challenge video, you guys, and I made some crafts. So here's the thing, update, you're all gonna get tired of hearing this, but those of you that are new to the channel, I used to be a Dollar Tree channel, and I made all kinds of crafts using Dollar Tree supplies, and only Dollar Tree supplies, which I was very proud of. But then my husband got a job offer in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And well, what would you do? Well, go, so we did. And I don't have any craft supplies, and I refused to buy a bunch of craft supplies that then I'm just gonna have to leave here, because when we do go back, which I don't know when that'll be, a year or two, whatever, I'm not, you know, we loaded up the car and came down here, and we're just gonna load up the car and leave. So anyway, in that mindset, I'm like, well, I still want to craft. So I started crafting with trash, because here in Mexico there happens to be a lot of trash. There's just the civic, the government, city government stuff and whatnot. They don't pick up trash as often, and so on and so forth. There's lots of bureaucracy and stuff behind that. So just walking around, you'll see a lot of trash. Also, they don't have like paved roads. So imagine if all of our roads were dirt, you would see more trash also, because we have, you know, concrete and paved roads, debris blows off, but that doesn't really happen here. Anyway, so I decided to start making crafts from trash. And as I go along, I think I'm gonna get better at this, and I have to say I'm very proud of the two crafts that I made today. So let's talk about the challenge today. By the way, that was a song by Marie Osmond, Paper, but it's sung by a lot of people. I mean, I think even, I think Marie Osmond's was a hit. Well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so this is called the DIY Floral Balls Quick and Easy. And that is, it's a open playlist. There it is. Don't worry, I'm gonna have it all linked down below, the playlist and everything. So it's got hosted by the Grace Life DIY Home Decor, At Home with Lisa, Design with Emma, Debbie Bubbles, Lifestyle Designs with Teresa, Deborah Cabasa Home Living, and this is Aria. So there's a lot of, I don't think it's gonna be a huge playlist, which is always kind of nice. Sometimes those longer playlists are hard to get through. So this is just DIY flower balls, decor, or topiary. So, okay, that sounded like a fun challenge. Now, I gotta be honest. The balls that I used in this, I bought at Office Depot. Mark said to go buy a chair, and I was like, oh, I wanna do that thing. So I didn't use trash for the styrofoam ball, but everything else basically is, let me just show you. I love this first one. Okay, actually I love both of them, but for different reasons. All right, so let me just start with this. When we moved in here, this is a furnished condominium. It's beautiful. And there was dishes in there. There was like 2 coffee cups, but one of them had a really bad chip in it, so obviously we couldn't use it. But I was like, yeah, but I could craft with it. So I held on to it. My butterfly hold. One of my butterflies fell off. I had to glue it back on. Okay. Anyway, so I held on to that mug. So I'm just gonna show you what I made with the mug. I think this is so cute. Okay, so there's a little bit. This was a mug that had a bad chip. I don't even know where the chip is. Oh, the chip's actually right there. But I did a process where I used baking soda and paint, and then it ends up looking very much like cement. It looks like a cement platter. All right, and so then there's the book, which is, it's trash. So it was a trashy book, number one. But anyway, there is a bookstore nearby, and there's free, like you can pick up free books. I went there to buy my daughter a birthday card, and I grabbed a couple of free books. So, books. But, okay, let me just show you. All right, there's my broken coffee cup. See, chipping it. So I'm gonna take black. These are all just straight acrylic paints, you guys. Black, white, and a gray, because it's gonna give me a little variation in color. You know, I'm always talking about, I just sort of mix them together, but it's not like I'm making cake batter, so I don't have to go all the lumps out. And then I'm gonna add some baking soda. So the more baking soda you add, the lumpier your texture is gonna be. So I didn't add a whole bunch, and as you can see there, I'm just like dappling it on. Is that how you, pouncing it on? Anyway, I'm not brushing. I'm jumping it on. Okay, so, and then I'm just covering the whole thing. This gives great coverage, by the way. So, and just as an FYI, the more baking soda you put in, the more white lumps that'll show up at the end after it dries. It's like the baking soda that ends up on top. So I didn't have any of that with this because I didn't use too much. But look at the texture. It's like perfect. I love it. And it looks like cement. Now I went a little bit darker on this one, so it's not really a light gray. It's sort of a dark gray, which was intentional to have it look more like, I don't know, a plain. I just wanted it darker rather than lighter. Okay, so once that dries, I'm going to go to making my topiary. Set that aside. It's going to dry, and we're going to make the topiary. So I took a book, and I just started, we're going to pounce on this for a while. I just started ripping out the pages, and I'm looking for pages that have print on both sides. Now I'm going to rip off, I don't at first, but then I'm like, oh wait, I got to rip off the non-printed area. So then the next pages that I rip, I actually rip off the edges of it because I don't want the non-printed area. When I go to put these on, I want full verbiage on all of my squares that I'm going to put on the ball. So I've got some water and some white glue, not a whole bunch of water. Actually, I don't think I put any water in now that I'm saying that. I did not. This is coffee, leftover watered down coffee from a craft that I had made, and I saved my little container because I knew when I went to do the this topiary that if I had some coffee in my glue, I would know where my glue was. So this is just a cute little trick, you guys, because sometimes when you paint glue on, you can't see where it is. So putting the coffee in there, I could. Then I took a piece of styrofoam, this piece of packaging styrofoam from a keyboard that I bought, and I'm just breaking it apart to fill my mug in so I can stick my trunk in there, the trunk for my topiary. Get all my glue off, and now there's my topiary. I'm going to stick it in there just so I can finish covering it. So there again is my glue with the coffee. Tells me where my glue is. This is the back side of a paintbrush, and I'm just sticking it into the foam. So it's getting stuck in, and then there's the glue right there. And this did work really well. I'm going to finish off our topiary here. And again, notice these are not exact same size on all my ripped little squares, rectangles, whatever they happen to be. They're close, but they're not exact. And the reason for that is it gives it a more natural look. For me, that's what I like. Okay, now I'm going to stick my twig in there, and I pre-measured, like I was like, how far is my styrofoam ball down? So I gave a visual as to how tall it was going to end up, and I really wanted that one little piece sticking out there, like it was another little branch. So I've got to stick my scissors in there, make that hole a little bit wider so I can get my styrofoam on there. Look at that. And then next I go to making my dirt, grass, whatever, ground covering for the bottom. So I just cut up all these little tiny slivers, coffee grounds right there, and the leftover coffee glue stuff. And I just mix that all in, and then I'm filling in the gaps around the styrofoam in the mug because I don't need this to fall down into there. And I'm just using the book paper that was left over that didn't have the print on it, right? So filling that all in, I'm going to stir this all up. This is so, I love this. I think this might be my favorite part of this craft, was making this little dirt out of really small cut up pieces of book paper and adding coffee grounds to it. Yeah, talk about using what you got, right? I don't have moss laying around from the DT anymore. So, all right, and then I'm going to go to making butterflies. And the butterflies were fun to make. And I'm going to stick with our, look at that grass, it looks so good. Oh no, first we're going to put on our twine. Sorry, I just went underneath the handle. I went around like 3 times. I made a bow. I put a knot in my tails. And then I did do a little burning off of the excess strings with a lighter. But this isn't exactly like jute rope. Like I said, this is very rough sort of twine, and I'm not really fondly in love with it, but it's what I have right now. And this is not trash, obviously. I bought this at the Home Depot, and gosh, I wish I had a roll of twine from Dollar Tree, but I don't right now. All right. Although I will say I like the color of this twine. It's a very, you know, it's like an off-white, beige-ish, brighter color than the jute twine is that we all are used to seeing. So, okay, so now I'm just drawing one butterfly, half a butterfly actually, getting the size that I wanted, gonna cut it out, and then I'm gonna fold it over and cut it out again, and that's gonna become my template. I even added the little antennas on there. And then once I have my template, I'm gonna take it and trace it 6 times, because doing 3 butterflies, and each butterfly had 2 levels to it to give it a 3-dimensional look, 3-dimensional looking butterfly. So once I have it, now I'm going to trace it all out, and like I said, trace it 6 times. Now 3 of them I did not need to have the antennas on. Those only needed to be on 1 of the cutouts. So 3 with antennas, 3 without, and I'm just cutting them out, making sure that I have them, they're on words, right? I wanted them to be on words following our theme of a book here. And then after I have my 6, I'm going to paint 2 of them exactly the same way, the bottom and the top of the butterfly, and then the other 2 with a different color pattern. So all 3 of my butterflies had a different color pattern. But again, these are these watercolor they're pencils, you guys. And so I was just drawing, and then I would take my paintbrush, put a little water on it, and it just, yeah, it becomes paint. What I just drew on there becomes paint. These are super cool. Like, I'm really liking these watercolor pencils. I'm going to use them, I think, again in a craft that I have coming up. Anyway, so I went ahead and did all 6 of my butterflies. Again, it was 3 different patterns. They're all done. And I'm going to layer them. So I'm going to put a little tiny bit of Elmer's glue. They came out so good. In the center, fold them, and then glue the one without the antennas onto the one with the antennas. So the antennas were on the bottom. And I'm just running a little bit of Elmer's glue down the seam, putting those together, letting them dry. And then before I glued them onto my tree, I sort of rolled the wings, like I took my paintbrush, I think, and sort of wound them around the base of the paintbrush so they would have a little sort of curl in the wings. And that was just to make them look, again, I was trying to get them to look more 3-dimensional. Here you go. I'm just doing it with my finger, just giving them a little curl. and it's paper, so it sort of takes it. And then there we go. So I'm gonna put my 3 butterflies on, and then this is all done. I think this came out so cute. I really hope you guys like this one as much as I do. And there's my first little topiary using a book and a broken mug. What do you think? And how about those watercolor pencils? What do you think of those? All right, let's go on to the next one. Okay, so it's a little tedious stabbing in these squares, but I want you guys to take note of, well, first of all, do you not love my butterflies? Yeah, the watercolor pencils are amazing. Never have heard of them before. I found them when I went to get my art supplies here because I had to get acrylic paint and stuff, and the guy said, do you have any watercolors? He showed me those, and I was like, all right, let's try those. But look at that, because you just, I draw it on there and then just take a little water, and anyway, I love it. Okay, so a couple of things I want you guys to notice about this topiary. My squares are not all the same size. I didn't care. It was random tearing, right? I mean, it was an approximate, like, you know, area that of a size. But I want you to see, I appreciate that because it gives this just a little more dimension. Like, not everything's exact like a real bush topiary would be, all right? Obviously, this is just a stick from the ground, but I gotta say, I loved what I did. I have no moss here. And so cutting up that paper really small and used coffee grounds and a little bit of water so it stained the paper, and the coffee grounds gave it some texture in there. Can you guys see that? So cool. I'll be using that thing again. All right, and then obviously just, you know, the little twine accent here. And I still have not found actual jute twine. This is like a rope, like a thin rope. But anyway, it's a twine, but it's not jute twine. It's really rugged. It's like hay. So, okay, but I love this. I think it's super cute. It's actually gonna go in the spare bedroom as a decorative piece. And when I leave, I'm sure I'll just leave it here as, you know, a little added thing for the condo. All right, let's go to DIY number 2. I only did 2 today, just because I have somebody coming to visit and they take a lot of time to do the topiaries and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so keep moving, Amy. Again, remember the styrofoam balls I bought. So this thing is completely trash other than the styrofoam balls. It's like a tree with some falling leaves. Yeah, okay. If you've been watching my channel, you would have seen me do Juanita back there. I'm gonna grab Juanita, because this is what started how I made this tree. So Juanita is a Dia de Muertos figurine made completely out of trash. And these flowers, which I love, I made them out of coffee filters. So when I got here, this coffee pot right there, wrong size filters I bought, and I was like, crud, I need the cone ones. So I was like, all right, well, I have all these coffee filters now. I guess I'll just, you know, keep them. And so I dyed them with acrylic paint and then made her florals. So I kind of did the same thing here, only I did a little variation. I started them, well, why don't I just show you? Yeah, hold on. Let's make a colorful tree. All right, I have 5 piles of 3 coffee filters here. So there's my blue. This is like a cobalt blue almost. And I folded the 3 up and I doused them in there, and then I added some more paint on top of them because those are going to be my blue. And the rest of them, I just sort of dunked it in there, used up the rest of my watered down blue. Then after they dried, so this one I added purple onto. This is almost like a tie-dyeing effect, right? Because this is going to be my purple-blue color that I'm going to add in my tree. So I did 3 of those. And after I did this, like, I would take them outside and hang them up to dry. So I did yellow, blue, green, purple, orange. And then I fold them in half cut, fold in half cut, and I'm just continuing that until I get them to basically this square size. Now, when I do this, you end up with this one little section of those tiny little triangles, which I made those in a pile off to the side because every once in a while I just had to fill in a little gap, right? And they were perfect for that. So I'm flipping them so they're all to the right side. When I put them into my topiary, the painted side goes to the outside. I'm pushing in on the non-painted side of my squares. I think you could do it either way because you're going to see both sides, right? And then I just have like, this is like a skewer, and I did it differently than I did the other one. So now I'm wrapping it around the skewer, dunking it in Elmer's glue, and then pushing it into my styrofoam ball with my skewer. Sometimes it gave me a little fight, like right there. Don't know why. It would just decide it didn't want to stay in there. But for the most part, this worked fine. A little tedious. Sit down and watch a movie while you do it or something. I'm going to say this probably took me probably an hour overall to get the whole thing covered up. And this is like a 6-inch ball for my colorful. I think this just feels like a very storybook tree. It's like, you know, something you would see painted in a kid's book. Again, I think it needs a swing on it, but anyway, so I go ahead and continue to do that and cover the whole thing up, and there it is, all done. Like, it looks so cool. So now I have this random piece of wood, my random piece of bark or trunk or tree stub, or, you know, a stick, and I'm putting it off to the side. So I want you guys to notice that, because my base, I'm going to center my topiary, but the trunk has a curve to it, which I love this because it gave it just this interesting look to it with that on that front there. And then I gouge out where I'm going to glue it on to the trunk. And when I pulled out, by the way, I had just enough coffee filters to cover the whole thing. Every piece went in there, and then I had to pull some out to glue it onto the trunk. And those pieces that I pulled out, of course, are going to be sort of my little falling leaves or little things growing at the base of my tree, however you want to look, you know, however you want to look at it. But I think it's so cute. I really like this piece. Very whimsical. It's very fun. It would look so cute in the kids' room. Anyway, I hope you guys like this as well. Tell me which one is your favorite, as always. So you can see, they all got kind of blued. And I didn't initially intend to do that, but I made too much blue wash. So I was like, all right, wait, let's just do this, because then it gave my tree an overall blue hue with these variations of the colors digging into that blue, right? I think it's really cool. And then just taking the leaves that I had to take out to put it onto its trunk, making it like it was falling leaves. This is just an old piece of wood I found out there. This is just an old piece of stick that I found out in my trash. And the coffee filters are trash because I might as well craft with them, right? I love this too. I think it's super cute. I would like literally, I can just see like a little swing hanging from it or something like that. I didn't go that far, but could add that to it. Okay, so you got to tell me in the comments down below which one of these is your favorite. I should do a thumbnail. Yeah. Hey, topiaries. Okay. Anyway. All right, guys. So that's it for my DIY floral ball challenge. Thanks so much to all the hosts who are going to be down in the playlist. And I'll see you guys next time here on Bella's Bargains. All right, so if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please give this video a thumbs up, and please leave me a comment down below. Every bit of chatter down there really helps my channel. And now that I'm back after the move and all that, and I'm working hard again on the channel, I'd like to see it grow. I'd love to hit 5,000 before the end of the year. Probably not gonna happen, but it's a dream. All right, everybody. So have a great day, a great week, a great life. And as always, from your singing crafty crafter, paper roses, paper roses. Haven't found any of those in the trash yet. But I made my own, sort of. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next time here on Bella's Bargains. Toodles.